I'm Tasha Lee, and today I am here with my good friend, Matt. This is Matt Bennett from Raw Intuition. Would you like to say hello, Matt?
Hello, Matt. Hello, everybody.
I was just telling Matt that when I chat with him, I end up getting very slap happy, and then everything he says is funny. So we've been having some technical issues and stuff, and so we're at the slap happy point. Well, at least I am. So this is going to be a fun interview.
Yeah.
So the reason that Matt is here today is because I want you to meet him. He has a great YouTube channel where he makes recipes and gives tips for being healthy, and I think it's been really helpful, at least for the people that I know. I love that he makes his videos just to teach people the basics about raw food and being healthy. The way that I met Matt is through his September Sleep Challenge on his YouTube channel. I just saw the video one day while browsing Facebook, and I said, I think I'll support this fellow in his challenge, and I need to get some better sleep, so why not? And ended up just kind of finding out that he's a really cool guy, and he's been a really great friend since then, and especially through all of the stuff that I've gone through the last couple of years. You know, I lost a lot of friends, and Matt has just been there being supportive and encouraging to me and making me laugh, and that's really, really important when you're very sick, you know, to laugh. And you know, on some of the really dark days. So he's been a great friend to me. He's probably one of my best friends, and he probably doesn't even know that. And you don't have to talk all the time to your best friends, do you? Yeah. But when you do talk, then it's like you just never stopped, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to talk today about being real. That's one of my favorite things about Matt, is that I can be real with him. Because the stuff we talk about, I mean, a lot of people can't handle talking about,
it's true.
About it. So where to start? Well, first, before we go into the fun stuff, Matt, can you tell people, I would encourage you guys to check out his channel, Raw Intuition, even if only being a gift to me to support my friend. But I think that you'll really like his video. So can you tell people what they might find there, and what is the goal of your channel?
Yes, of course. And, you know, as I've told you before, you know, I greatly appreciate your friendship as well. So it's a two-way street, and you've been one of my best friends, and I'm really glad that you decided that you needed better sleep last, or whatever year that was. So that was a blessing to me, so I thank you for that. But yeah, my channel is, like you said, it's just basically a resource for people to get what I have found to be helpful in creating a healthy and vibrant life. And I've done that through raw foods. I've done that through a holistic view of, you know, exercise and getting outside. Healthy thoughts has been a huge part of me getting healthy and just changing my life around, really. So it's all of that, plus what I really hope to help people figure out is how to identify blockages and hurdles in their life, both externally, whether it's their environment or things that they're doing, lifestyle habits, or if it's internal as well. You know, there's internal and external blockages that we have that prevent us from living lives out of love rather than out of fear. And
wait,
yeah,
preventing us from living in love. Okay.
Yeah, did I say that wrong?
No, I think I just wasn't expecting how you said it, but yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So
We
yeah,
want to live in love and not in fear. Right.
exactly. Yes. So the goal is to show people how to eliminate those barriers to that they have that are preventing them from living out of love, because so many people live their lives in more of a fear-based way. They're reacting. They're not conscious of the things that are going on in their lives, both externally and internally, that might be hindering their happiness. And so for me, all the things that I share on my channel is what I have done to eliminate those barriers that have really kept me from being authentic and from, just living my life completely on a love-based level. So that's really the nutshell of what my channel is about. It's just to really show people that if you're struggling, if your health isn't where you want it to be, there's ways that you can turn it around and start living a life that you can be excited about.
Hmm. And Matt is a very positive person. I think his videos are very uplifting, and I feel good after watching them, as opposed to some other videos where I might, even if they're health videos, I might just feel like more discouraged or kind of down and depressed. I feel like his are very up. So,
Awesome.
um, so since this particular interview is about being real, and since you brought it up, have you dealt with a fear-based existence? I think we have had conversations about this.
Yeah.
Like even like we talk about being nervous before interviews,
Mm.
and we
Yeah.
said like for this one that we're gonna not edit it and just do it Dan the Man style, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
But I know I lived a life of fear, and I didn't even know I was afraid, but how much fear was driving all of my decisions. And I can't give a good example. Well, maybe like fear of what people thought of me, and not knowing it, and I just like, oh, I just want people to like me, and I just want to do well and have them approve of me. But really I was afraid that they weren't going to like me, and what happens if they don't like me? Then they won't do what I want, and then I might not get what I want. And like it was all kind of about me and selfishness, rather than, that's not what God put me on this earth to do, was to be sucking the life out of other people and to be living in fear, but instead to just ask God to remove that fear and to direct my attention where he would have me be. And that's to look around and see who I can love. There's a lot of people around me who are, like if I always would feel afraid to be sitting alone, because like in a lunchroom or something, because, oh, if I'm sitting alone, what are these people thinking of me? Maybe they think that I don't have any friends, or that I'm like, I don't know, they'll think bad thoughts about me if I'm alone. And if I'm at a party and nobody's talking to me, what are people going to think? And I just get so nervous,
Yeah.
And God showed me to like, all those other people that are sitting a lot alone, they're probably having those same things, and we're all thinking, what are people thinking of me? And everybody's like absorbed with themselves.
Yeah.
And so, and 99% of the people they're thinking about themselves. They might be thinking about you in passing, like, oh, she's sitting alone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what about me? And so, God showed me to go and, well, actually, through my recovery program, I was encouraged to go and talk to that person who was sitting by themselves. And it ended up blessing both of us so much, getting out of that place of fear and self-focus, and instead looking around and serving, and just, stepping out of that zone of, I can't do it. I'm so afraid. What are they going to think of me if I go talk to them? And what if I don't have the right thing to say? And just going over and being like, hey, I don't know what to say, but I just thought I'd come talk to you.
Yeah. I can relate
So,
to all those thoughts because I went through all those too. So definitely it's something that I think most people experience.
but we don't talk about it, do we?
No, we don't.
And we don't know that everyone else is afraid too.
Right? I know. Well, some people are really good at hiding it. And, I think, and that's really what I think we are kind of conditioned to do, is hide our our authentic selves and hide our fear, and just kind of put on a mask or you know, a front that things are hunky dory, but really you're not doing as well as you want. You know, you feel like you can't share your true thoughts and you know, just be who you are because you're afraid that you're not going to fit in with the group. You know, even in school, we're taught basically to fit in with the group. And if you have ideas that are different than people, you know, maybe you're told that your thoughts are incorrect. You know, you got to go by the textbook. So also things just like fitting in with the clothing. People are concerned about what clothing brand they're wearing, and you know, I've seen it happen to people where they aren't wearing a certain brand of clothing and they get made fun of. So you know, it's
They
just
get what?
made fun of or singled out. You know, mostly younger children, but I mean, it goes to all age levels, but you know, it's just from a young age, we're just brought up to feel that we have to have the same feelings, the same thoughts, the same clothing, you know, as everybody else, or it's going to look bad on us. And so I just think that it's important for people to get rid of those barriers of being so worried about how you look, about how, you know, you're coming off to other people, and just understanding that it's good to be unique because, you know, God put us here for a reason, and we all have a unique gift and a unique message and a unique way of sharing that message for people to really connect and touch you know, other people in a way that will allow them to shine their light of what they were put here to do. So when we are holding that inside of us and not embracing ourselves, that's really, it's not only a disservice to us, it's a disservice to everybody because then somebody else might not get that inspiration and that calling to share themselves. So yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking when you're talking about if our opinions differed, that we're told that it's not right. I mean, I remember so much, like in my young years, just being afraid to have an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe I had an experience where I tried out for the soccer team and I didn't make it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was so afraid, and I never tried out again because I was so afraid to fail. And I loved soccer, so I still played soccer, and I, you know, found lots of teams to play on, but I never, you know, I never know what I could have done because I was afraid to fail. And you hear about the stories of like all these great inventors who were terrible in school, or they, you know,
Yeah.
they got kicked out of this or that, and they were told they were just worthless. And then they ended up doing these amazing things, and we're like, wow, are you serious? And hearing, you know, that it's so important to just keep trying and keep trying, and a lot of times we learn from our failures and then we can do better things. And so in my later life now, I know that it's okay to fail, but like that was a huge fear for me. And just, yeah, being afraid to have an opinion. I think maybe part of that for me was being a twin, and my twin was really cool, and I was the nerd. And I think at some point I just kind of felt like it was better for me if I just stayed quiet because I wasn't cool. And I kind of just stopped offering my opinion, and I went into myself and just kind of thought, well, yeah, it's better if I just keep silent. But then during my recovery process, learned these things that you were saying, that, you know, if I'm not offering my opinion, then, I mean, how can someone have a conversation with me if I don't offer my opinion? It's not honest.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm trying to talk with someone and they're too afraid to tell me the truth, then we can't have a real conversation. And And so, yeah, in these later years now, I'm having opinions and people aren't liking my opinions. And sometimes it's hard when people don't like your opinions.
Yeah. Well,
But
that goes back, they're obviously living out of a fear-based reality because your opinions are challenging what their beliefs are. So if it makes them look outside of the box, they might have that fear-based reaction and just want to block you out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds me, when I was following this food plan, I was doing a food addict food plan, and it was really hard for me to stick to that. And so I blocked everyone out who was not on that food plan because I was so afraid I was going to fall off. And so I didn't want anybody to say anything to me other than, people following this food plan. I remember that. And then when I got off of that and I learned to live just asking God how to eat and not trying to follow these rules, and it was like this freedom, and I was afraid to step into that freedom, really afraid. I was so afraid I would go back to binging my head off. But then when it was okay, I was free following God, and God kept me on track. And I would talk to other people who were still on that food plan, and they would just get so mad at me, if I ever said, well, just because it was that same fear-based thing. I think even in the natural hygiene world too, there's like a certain way that everybody does things, and if you go against it, like, I mean, I know for me, I was like, I didn't want to hear anything other than what one teacher taught, because then it was confusing. It was threatening to me that maybe I was doing the wrong thing. That scared me.
Yeah.
And I was already convinced, like, I had to be convinced that this was the way to go so that I could put my whole heart into it and do it. And then to hear that it might not be the right thing, that was threatening, because then, what if I just wasted all my efforts on this? Or what if I have to learn something new? Or
yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I see that, in almost any group you go into, if it's on Facebook or wherever you go. Go to the medical doctor, or if you go to any profession, I think any group of people is going to have that to a certain degree, where, you got the medical doctors talking bad about the chiropractors, and the chiropractors talking bad about, the natural hygiene or something, It's just it's just different from their perspective, and I think if they would be a little more accepting to other modalities, everybody could benefit everybody. But it's just that, there's just too much rigidity between the groups, and nobody wants to challenge their own opinions, so it makes it hard for progress to take place.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts that come off of that, but let's go into more topics about being real.
Yeah.
So, well, here's a fun one. My favorite conversations with Matt are about poop and enemas. Yes.
Those are the best.
So I made this group when I first started doing enemas called Fruits and Enemas, because I was like, you know what, in the raw vegan world, like fruit-based raw vegan world, enemas are just like taboo, and especially coffee enemas. And I'm like, I'm going to make this group where we can talk about it, because I'm meeting people here and there who do enemas, and they just would never tell anyone because it's so taboo, and people would, look down on them. And I'm like, so there's people out here, let's bring them together so that we can be okay talking about this. So anyway, so we started this group, and Matt's like, I know this is going to be my favorite group.
And it still is.
Except that it got deleted, but other than that.
Right, well, I have fond memories.
So we have lots of good... See, okay, I talk about enemas because I feel that it saved my life. Coffee enemas saved my life. And I feel that I was very afraid to do my first enema. and I didn't want to, and I felt like everybody said they were bad. And so now I want to talk about it because, you know, kind of like in the movies, we get desensitized to stuff and then it becomes okay. I feel like if I talk about it, then people are going to get desensitized to
Pretty
it.
soon, everybody's going to be talking about coffee enemas and, you know, showing pictures of what they poop out. So
Yes.
we're starting the new, you know, the new big fad.
Revolution.
Yes, the new revolution. The poo-poo revolution.
So, yeah, so anyway, he's a great person to talk to about Enemas. But yeah, we talk about it in my group Holy Heal with Tasha Lee now. And we talk about urine therapy and, you know, other things that people are not okay with talking about. It's a safe place. And Matt just did the master fast, and he made a video about it. You want to tell us about the snake, Matt?
Do you want to know? I mean,
yes,
okay.
We want to know about the snake.
So there was a couple snakes. It was like a little snake party that came out. But yeah, so I did the master fast, which it started out as just a regular juice fast. And so I went 17 days on my juice fast, which was just, you know, a regular juice fast, fresh pressed juice. And then actually at about day 12 is when I started mixing in some of it's pasteurized grape juice and fresh lemon juice. And so the idea that pasteurized juice was going to help me was really hard to wrap my head around, because it really goes against all my raw food, you know, knowledge. So there again, a lot of people in the raw food movement would completely say no to that concept. So, and that's kind of what my first impression was when I started hearing about it. I just kind of figured that raw juice would always be better than a cooked juice. But once I, you know, looked into it a little more, I kept my mind open. I decided to give it a try because I'm a guy that definitely wants to speak from experience, and I think firsthand knowledge is the only way to truly know something. You know, you can read as many books as you want, but unless you actually do it, it's the way that you can present the information is completely different. So just having that firsthand knowledge was something that I wanted to have. And so I transitioned after day 12. I started adding in the cooked grape juice and the fresh lemon juice. And then day 17 is where I completely was just on the grape juice and lemon juice. So I went from day 17 to day 35. So it was like 17 or 18 days of just about anywhere from 36 to 64 ounces roughly of the juice per day. And then there's a little mixture that you take. It's bentonite clay, psyllium husk, and activated charcoal. And you use that to kind of sweep out all the junk that your body is dumping. And so through that experience, I mean, right away, right when I started adding in the grape juice and the lemon juice, I started to get really like goopy, slimy. Like it was slimy. Honestly, it was like smearing on the toilet on the toilet bowl. And I was like, what is that? So I started seeing that for a couple days, and then I started to see some little like worm looking things. And I wasn't sure. I wasn't 100%, you know, sure that it was worms, but it really looked like worms. So whatever it was, it didn't look like normal, you know, bowel movement. And so as time went on, you know, I started to see more and more of this, and there was some pretty big strands. And I've shown you the pictures, and I mean, it's big stuff.
It's like big sausage links.
Yeah, exactly, big sausage links. And even besides those, I was getting smaller, separate little worm things. And then one night there was like, so I did an enema, and then I passed one of the big sausage links, whatever that is. And then like an hour later, I started to feel something coming on again. So I got to the bathroom, and it was just like this. It was just a very small, a quick little release, and 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 usually up to that point it was like purple. It was like really dark, and I figured that was because it was like just the grape juice passing through me. But this time it was completely clear fluid, but there was this like probably 2.5 inch little white strand that I saw at the bottom of the bowl. And so I got my little poker and I pulled it out, and it was like I couldn't tell if it was a parasite or if it was just like a long strand of mucus. But either way, it was crazy. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say about it other than it was good to get it out.
Better out than in.
Exactly. And every time I got something like that out, like one of the big things, the big long things, or just the little strands, I just felt better. So, I mean, that was enough to show me that, there is the possibility of using other methods other than just natural 100% raw means of cleansing. So, yeah, I mean, that just goes to show that keeping your mind open can lead you to unexpected blessings.
Delights.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Sausage links.
Exactly. Vegan sausage links. Look at that. I should package it and I'd have a business.
Yeah. Every time the rope worms would come out, I would feel so good. Like it would feel so terrible right before they came out. And I mean, it's still happening. I feel like I'm collapsing before they come out. So weak and just irritable. And they come out and then I'm like, I'm so happy. But it smells so bad. It's like 1,000 times worse than anything else. And I'm like, I would like to package this up and deliver it to the person who designed this genetically engineered organism. And I think if everyone in the world packaged them up and delivered them at the same time, that it would be a really nice gift to the people who created them. What do you think?
I've got mine in a bag, so I'll send it. Yep, just give me the address, I'll mail it. But yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Just return it and see if they can improve on what they created.
Okay. I don't think I want them to try and improve anything because
no, I don't either.
Okay, so let's see what else with real stuff. One of the really big blessings in my life that Matt has been when I've been talking about my struggles, and I texted him back when I was using my phone and said, it was when I was sleeping in my truck and I was making videos and I was like, Matt, all of my subscribers are leaving. These are things you talk about with other YouTubers. We have our insecurities, right?
Yep.
I'm like, everybody's saying I'm being so depressing and everything. And I felt, it felt really hard to me because I felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, which is talking about this and raising awareness and, just documenting my experience. But it was really hard when just everybody started leaving mean messages like, okay, I don't want to hear about this. I just want to hear about you eating fruit and being happy. And unsubscribe, and there were some mean ones. And then when I started talking about more gallons and people were saying, you're crazy, you need to see a psychiatrist, and over and over and over and over. So I'm just like, block,
Yep.
I probably block 2 or 3 people every day now. Because I don't need that kind of energy on my channel,
Yeah.
But anyways, back then it was just really hard because I couldn't deal with it. My emotions were just all over the place, and I'm like, Matt, I'm so sad, everybody's leaving. And he said, you know what, you're not being depressing, you're being real. and people need this, and someday they will need to hear what you shared, and they'll come back. And that just really, I thought about that all the time. Like, it was such an encouragement to me to just keep on. Do you want to talk about that at all, Matt?
About your situation, or just
about anything related to that? Any thoughts that came to mind when I shared that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's important for anybody that's going through a rough time to be able to share what they're feeling. And if you've got people that are going to shut you out because you want to truly share what you're going through, then I think that shows both insecurity on their end, kind of like we talked about before. They're in that fear-based consciousness, and also they're just, it's not really the type of person that you want to be around anyways. If you're in a part of your life where you're going through rough times, you need those strong people that are going to be there to support you and to listen to you. And just because, you know, when we're going through such rough times, it's not that we really need somebody to give us information or insight. It's just we need somebody to listen to us and to understand us. And so, you know, if people are going to be leaving you mean messages and just being rude, again, that shows, you know, what kind of internal environment they've got going on. But it just shows that, you know, this is also just a way for you to cleanse out your own personal external environment and the people that you have around you, so that you can really truly find the people that you know are going to be there for you and that are going to be, you know, resources for healing and just for companionship. So, yeah, I mean, definitely anybody that's going through a rough time, don't get down if somebody else tries to make you feel inferior or like bad for what you feel, because, you know, that's truly how you heal in the first place, is by sharing and getting out those stagnant thoughts and energies that are stuck within you, that are making you feel so poorly in the first place. So talking about it is therapeutic, and it helps you to release those stagnant energies that are in you. So don't shut yourself out from people and hide what you're truly feeling, because you have to get that out of you. And so find people that are willing to listen and willing to help you cleanse your internal environment.
Yeah, I so agree. Definitely making videos and writing blogs. It was like so helpful for me, so healing, so therapeutic, because even if there's like nobody in the world who, in my real life, who gets it, at least there have been people all along who have been watching, who have been supportive, and just knowing that, I don't know, just feels better to talk about it, and knowing that it's out there for the people who do want to connect. And I kind of felt like I was a voice for others who couldn't speak up for themselves. But I've met so many people who, they don't have anyone to talk to. No one who supports them. And I would really encourage you to, you know, join my Facebook group, Holy Heal with Tasha Lee. Like, it's a safe place, and I get rid of people who are not safe. I'm not just like a come on in thing. I'm like, if you're negative or mean or troll, you're out, you know. And I kind of like, I talk to people before I let them in, you know, because it's really important that we have a safe place and a positive environment. I've been on so many groups where it's just negative and depressing, and trolls are out there to depress us, discourage us, and confuse us, and it leaves us suicidal. When we're really sick and we get discouraged and depressed and confused, we're ready to kill ourselves. And I think it's really, really important that we have a safe place. And so that's what I want my group to be, is a safe place for me and for everybody else in it. But yeah, there's so many people, like, but like you said, it has weeded out the people who were just fair weather friends, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and my friends now are so amazing. Like the friends, I mean, they're like diehard friends.
Yeah.
You know. Um, so I have in my life now people who hate me or people who love me.
What else do you need?
Exactly. And the haters, they're not really in my life, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with what you said. What other topics about being real? There were a couple of other things I know we were going to talk about.
Well, I mean, we can get into, you know, one of the biggest things for me was my hair, and I know we can both relate on that point.
Look, you guys, we're both bald and we're wearing hoodies.
Yeah, it's
Earth colors. Aren't we the coolest?
Exactly. It's healing just seeing our hoodies.
Yeah.
Our shaved heads.
We're trying to be twins a little bit.
Yeah. I think it worked.
Except I didn't put on my goatee, but what? My husband said he was going to loan me his goatee, but he shaved it for it's No Shave November, or is that what it is? No Shave November, so he's shaving every day just to be a rebel.
Nice.
So anyway, what were you going to say?
So one of the things that was one of the biggest steps for me personally was at about the age of like 17 or so, I started to notice that I was losing, you know, there's a lot of hair on my comb, and that was something that I was just not ready to have happen. So, and when I was younger, you know, for whatever reason, I don't know how it even started, but like the girls would like always try and mess up my hair and like play around with my hair. So I don't know if I was like I had some sort of emotional attachment to it in that aspect or what, but I started losing my hair, and that was a really difficult thing for me to accept. And you know, probably just the feelings, just the depression and the anxiety that I was feeling and the obsession with it was probably causing it to fall out, you know, just as much as anything else. I attribute it to, you know, diet and so many other things, but I didn't know about those things at that time. So um, I basically went years without letting anybody see me without a hat, and I was like so depressed. And you know, I think throughout my entire college life, I basically the only time I didn't wear a hat was the one time when my teacher made me take it off when I had to give a presentation in my speech class. So yeah, I mean that just goes to show how difficult it was for me to handle, and just finding the strength within me to get over that was something that I think I had to go through that in order to learn the lesson so that I could help other people that were dealing with the feelings, you know, where you just feel like you're not good enough, or you're not attractive enough, or, you know, whatever the issue is that you're dealing with. All the struggles that I went through, and there are so many. You know, I missed out on so many opportunities that would have been amazing experiences in my life, but I passed on them because I didn't want to have, you know, people see me without a hat on, or I didn't, you know, if people were going to go swimming, I didn't want to go swimming with them because then my hair would get all messed up. So, you know, there's so many things that I missed out on because I was so fearful of what could happen. And finally, you know, after I started getting into raw food and you know, just focusing on self improvement and self development and self love, is when I really found the strength to finally just shave it off, because I was so sick of letting it control my life. And it really was. It was completely controlling my life. It was preventing me from, you know, building relationships with people and from, you know, improving on other aspects of my life. So finally, you know, I shaved it off, and it was really difficult at first, really scary for me. But after, a few months, I started to get used to it, and I started to really just be able to enjoy the the feeling. It took such a weight off my shoulders not to have to worry about, getting ready in the morning, making my hair look how I wanted it to, and just worrying about what other people were seeing when they looked at my hair, because I thought that's all they were looking at. So that's another thing, is we get into the mindset where, again, we think that everybody is focused on us, and it's really just usually just us focusing on ourselves and making up stories in our heads, that lock us into a fear-based perception. But yeah, so overcoming that was the biggest stepping stone for me to really being able to share with other people how to really change your life and turn it around, even when it seems like you're at a point where there's no way it's going to get better, and you just feel hopeless. So it's possible for people out there. If you're feeling hopeless, or you feel like, your situation is just so bad that you're never going to come out of it, I I promise you there are ways that you can turn around your life, and you can change your mindset, you can change your health, you can change your friends, you can change anything in your life. It just takes acceptance, it takes self-love, and it takes a supportive community. It takes, so many things that, when they all come together, it will show you that, you're a special person, you deserve to be happy, and your gifts are meant to be shared with other people. And so finding the strength to actually love yourself enough to share those with other people is really what it's all about. So
Nice. You make me remember things like, shaving off my hair. I guess some people are afraid to do the parasite cleansing like me because they don't want to lose their hair. I learned that recently.
yeah.
They're afraid they're going to end up like me. But as you were talking, I'm like, that, I could grow my hair back, but honestly, it's such a relief to not see my hair moving. I mean, when you're sitting at the computer and your hair is like
Yeah.
moving, it's like, it's so nice to not have it doing that, and to not be finding moving hairs all over the place.
Right. Yeah. I know, it's amazing, like, because back then I was so scared of what I would look like. I would pull my hair back and try to see what I would look like without hair, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot let myself get like that. But then I did it, and all those things that I made up in my head, all those stories that I told myself, were completely false, and now I am happier than I've ever been. So we have to be able to see through the lies that we tell ourselves, and again, just really look at if you're coming from a place of fear or if you're coming from a place of love, because that is really what it comes down to. And when you can determine where your thoughts are, then it's a lot easier for you to take those steps to creating a better life for yourself.
By the way, for anyone who has hair loss issues, there's a few things that I've heard, which is interesting because they all fight parasites. So like iodine and castor oil and urine therapy. All of these things, like, they're supposed to be good for that. So I haven't tried them, but right now I'm working on getting I've got these bald spots right here where they're coming out. They're finally, that's where I had a big Morgellons patch there. So I'm happy to have some bald spots there. I want them to leave. Yay!
Yeah, right. Yeah, we have to get rid of these things in order for, the healthy things to come back in. So, and that's another thing that people are afraid of when they cleanse, is about losing weight. And sometimes you just have to, let go of some things. Like, you might have to lose a little weight, you might have to lose a little hair, you might have to lose a few friends, and then the good positive things come in to replace that. So not being so attached to what we have in our lives, and being just accepting of the fact that everything is always changing, and it's okay to let go of some things and then just trust in God and yourself that, you know, things will come into your life that are positive and replace those things that you know, weren't benefiting from.
I think most women don't mind the losing weight part, but
Right.
maybe more for a guy.
Yeah, I think that's more of a guy issue. Yep.
But yeah, that's a really, I mean, definitely like with the mold, we lost everything we owned, and then with the all this health stuff, then you lose, you know, lose outward beauty, and oh, I have all these lines and holes on my face, you know, and it's like, you know, I made a decision some months ago that, you know, I was really struggling to put up this video, not this video, but a particular video, because I was looking at it, I'm like, my face looks terrible. I'm like, I don't want to put that up. And I just remembered like when Matt and I had been talking at one point, I was like, here I am, I'm doing this thing, I don't want to post this video, and I'm not being real, you know. And so I felt really bad about the fact that I didn't want to post it. So I posted it, and I you know, committed outwardly that I was going to go ahead and not worry about what I look like, and I'm going to make videos even if I look like crap. And so I do now, and my face got even worse than on that video.
I think you still look good.
Thanks, you look good without hair too.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, I think that it makes us really have to focus on the inner stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's a courage thing, I think. It's a step of courage to do something even when you're so afraid, you know? Courage is moving forward even when it's scary.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It means that you're doing it anyways.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anything else on being real? I feel good on this end.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Just one other thing that I'll share that I've really begun to realize is that I'm really starting to feel that in order to heal physically, we have to heal emotionally first. I honestly feel like the emotional aspect is so much more important to heal first than the physical body, because it's like you've got this emotional body around you, and if it's always pouring in toxic thoughts, toxic, you know, habits, whatever it is, emotional wise, then your body never has a chance to really eliminate the physical things because it's dealing with so much negative emotion. And so, you know, if you have a lot of negative self-talk, or you know, you just think bad thoughts, at the same time, you know, it's still part of the physical aspect too, because for me, once I cleaned out my physical body by eating raw foods, that really cleared up my emotional mind. But if I would have, you know, just been, you know, just kind of stopped there and not really dove deep into my emotional issues, I really don't think that I would have experienced the level of healing that I've experienced up to this point. So what I really try to, you know, encourage people to do is to look at both the physical, of course, but also more, I don't want to say more importantly, but equally importantly, look at your emotional health and try to find ways that you can improve your emotional health, your emotional thoughts, you know, all the things that you say about yourself. Do a challenge of where you only speak good, positive things about yourself.
Matt likes challenges.
I do. I love challenges. and one of, honestly, I don't know if I've ever said this in a video, but one of the first things that I started to do back in college, and this was still when I was pretty toxic, so even back then I still had that little spark in me, that little voice that was telling me that, you know, you're gonna get better. You just there's something in your life right now that is preventing you from being your true self. And so for whatever reason, I might have seen it in a video or something that I was searching, but I just started making it a habit where I would start every single day off where I would smile at myself in the mirror, because I would never want to smile. Like in pictures or anything, I would always try to have like almost a straight face. And part of that was that I felt like it made my forehead bigger and my hairline would go back. So it went back to so many different insecurities that I had in myself. But I had to just accept the fact that whatever physical appearance was, I was still going to start this habit of smiling at myself in the mirror every single morning. And that was really helpful. So if you're somebody that feels like you don't like your appearance, I guarantee you when you smile, you're gonna, even if you don't like it at first, over time you're gonna start to get used to the view of you smiling. And that has affects well beyond just smiling at yourself. It has emotional aspects that it affects, and it affects your physical body. Even your hormones change. So just seeing yourself with a happy face is gonna be a great first step that takes absolutely no money. It's free and it's super easy to do. So just try to make that a habit where you smile at yourself, and maybe you give yourself a compliment every single morning. So that'd be maybe one last thing that I would add in for that.
Yeah, there was a time when I was at my sickest and I did not smile for a few months because I was so depressed.
Mhm.
In every way, physically depressed, and just, I couldn't, it was like so much trauma at once. And I wanted to smile, but I couldn't. And I remember when I had my first smile, I mean, I don't remember that exact day, but I just noticed, oh my gosh, I'm able to smile.
Yeah.
And I started smiling more and more, and I'm like, what a gift. It's such a gift to smile. And at that time, I was watching Jimmy the Apes videos because he made me laugh. He was goofy. I don't think he's making videos anymore, but it was a gift during that time. And Matt made me laugh, and it was such a gift. And even now, like, some people tell me on my videos I laugh too much and you need to get rid of your nervous laugh. And I'm like, you know what? I'm so grateful to have a laugh, and I'm going to laugh at everything I can because it feels good and it's healing. Laughter is good medicine.
Yes.
And that's, on my darkest times, I'll be messaging with Matt and he makes me laugh. And then I'm just feeling so good, just laughing about enemas.
Yeah. I mean, what's not to laugh? It's healing, and it makes you just want to dance after you release, of course. You don't want to get the floor wet.
He said something the other night about I had to do a late night enema because I had done a castor oil pack all day. And it was really, I was like, I'm so toxic, I can't go to sleep until I'm do enemas. And he was doing something for his business stuff. So we were both up later than we should have been, So we're just messaging back and forth. And like, some of his comments, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing in the world, but it made me laugh so hard.
I get that a lot for some reason.
like I was testing the water temperature of my coffee, and I was so tired, so I stuck my finger in there to see what the temperature was, and then I'm like, gonna like lick it, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't know what's been in that bucket, and he said something about you would have gotten a chocolatey surprise, and I was like, that doesn't make sense.
No. Again, something I do all the time.
What's hilarious? This is brown. I think laughter is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And what else did you just say there? I can't remember. Oh, positive thoughts. Yeah. And how toxic all the negative stuff can be. Like when I was at my lowest, when I couldn't function, I started singing praise songs and thinking about Bible verses. And I could go from like, I'm getting hit by this mold, and then I just started singing, the joy of the Lord is my strength, the joy of the Lord is my strength, over and over and over and over. And I could do it, and I could make the reaction stop. And so now I like get hit with these electronic attacks, and so I can block it with prayer. And I'm like, I can't believe it. Those are very physical symptoms that I get, like pains, and my brain's stopping working, and I can block it with prayer. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And feeling totally depressed, and then I can start singing praise songs, and it's just like, it lifts. Oh, it's if it can make me function at my worst time, you know, I know that it's powerful.
Yeah.
And I think it does. It takes mental energy sometimes to choose to switch to that positive thing. It takes mental energy to choose to pray.
Definitely.
And to choose to sing praise songs. But it's like so worth it.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, our brains don't always know the difference between an actual threat or something and just a thing that we think up that stresses us out. So, you know, I've read that they've done studies where somebody that, like, they'll have a group of people run a race, and then they'll have that same group of people just think about running a race, like the next day or something, and their blood pressure starts to go up and their heart starts to beat faster. And I don't remember if that's the exact scenario that it was, the test that they did, but, you know, just knowing that our thoughts can create physical reactions in the body, and that the body is going to respond with stress hormones and so many other things, that even know that you're not in that situation, or you might not be, in case of like, you know, you're just thinking about a test the next day, or you know, whatever it is, that if you keep thinking stressful thoughts and keep thinking poor things about yourself, that's only going to increase the toxic load that we have. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that trolls play on this a lot.
Oh, for sure.
YouTube trolls and trolls in Facebook groups who are on there to create doubt and make us second guess everything. And then we can just, like, I know for me, the thoughts will get planted in there from something that they say,
Yep.
and then it'll keep coming up and keep replaying and keep replaying. And I've had to choose, say, get out of my mind, and I'm going to think about something else, you know,
Yeah.
like, God, get that out of there.
Yeah.
And now let's think about something that is positive and encouraging, and celebrate the success that we've had so far. You know, make a gratitude list. And that's really changing, to do a gratitude list and get out of that place. So, but yeah, I feel like all of this, I did so much work to recover from my eating disorder, emotional work inside, and I'm so grateful that I had to do that before hitting all this stress of mold and parasites and everything, because I already have the system in place for how to deal with all these feelings.
Right.
Because if there's no way to deal with the feelings, then we just do like unhealthy stuff that gets us sicker,
Right.
you know, like binging or whatever, because we have no way of coping. So
yeah.
It's definitely important, I think, to find ways. I have a my page, holyheal.com/spirituality. It tells all the stuff that has helped me internally, you know, to cope with all this stuff. And that's what you talk about on your channel too, is like working through. Do you talk about this stuff on there?
Yeah. You know, maybe just like it probably gets blended in, you know, various, you know, different videos.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the whole mindset that I have. I think that's kind of just implanted in all of my, you know, everything that I basically talk about. Is
you drop a little pearl in,
right,
in
exactly.
a little nugget of knowledge.
A little nugget in there. Yep. When you said about when they, you know, drop that little thought in your head and it just keeps playing over and over, that reminds me of like music and people that listen to negative music, like it's what you'll find pretty much anywhere on the radio. There is just toxic messages in all the music that we listen to, and that's what happens. It gets stuck in your head, and you keep replaying that stuff over and over. And that's another thing that I have really found to benefit me as well, is like the Christian music stations. They're positive messages. So it's just uplifting. And there's other bands out there that are really about spreading positivity and good messages. I used to listen to all the normal stuff that most kids listen to. It's a lot of rap when I was in high school, and hard rock, and it's just the messages in that music is not conducive to healthy thoughts. And so once I cut out the negative music, that was another big step for me into really helping to remold my mental processing, and my mental habits. So that's another thing that I would really encourage people to look at, is what music are they listening to?
I had to, when I was really dealing with all my self-image stuff and addictions, I had to stop watching movies. I had to turn off the TV. I had to stop looking at magazines because I kept getting these toxic messages over and over. And I would just I would try to give it up for a while, and then I'd go back and well, it's maybe not that bad. But I just felt every time I did that, I would start to get depressed, and I would start to have all these negative thoughts and go back to my addictions. And I'm like, after so many times of beating myself up and with all this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give it up. And now just learning that it is used as mind control. It really is. I won't go into that because that's not the topic of this, but but I'm like, oh, so that's why.
Yeah.
It helps so much because they're trying to do that.
Yep. We can get into that in another video.
Yeah. This is the positive one.
Yeah.
And plus, Skype will cut us off if we start talking about it.
Right? I know. I'm waiting for it. It's gonna happen. No, actually, we want to keep those thoughts out. It's not gonna happen. We don't want to manifest it. That's
right. So it's happening, but there are things that we can do to thrive and to avoid that. And definitely there are very good music stations to listen to, and there are positive movies to watch.
Yep.
And we can play games with our families and message with friends about enemas and things that can lift us up.
Yeah. Share our snake pictures.
Exactly. Yes. Actually, I can't really look at them for very long because then I'm like, oh, this makes me sick.
I don't blame you.
So I just got to look out of curiosity and then be like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you so much, Matt, for agreeing to be real with my family here on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for hanging out with me and my buddy Matt. Do you have any closing thoughts for us, Matt?
Basically just do everything you can to eliminate negativity, and especially where the negativity is coming from yourself, on yourself. So, try and find positivity in whatever you can. Get rid of, like I said, the music, all those external things that you can control, and just try to fill your life with as much positivity as you can, and that will help to kickstart your healing journey and just improving your life on all levels. So I just want to thank you for letting me come on your channel and sharing my little tips and tricks for what's worked for me.
Thanks for wearing a hoodie, Matt.
Oh, of course. I'll wear a hoodie anytime you want me to.
Awesome. All right, guys. So remember to check out Matt's channel. It's called Raw Intuition. And do you have a Facebook page for it too, Matt?
Yep. It's I think it's just facebook.com/rawintuitionmb.
Okay. And if they look up Raw Intuition, they'll probably find it too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you run a Facebook group, or?
I don't, not yet. Maybe in the future, but at this point I haven't.
Okay, so you can find him on my Facebook group. He'll post this stuff for you there.
Yeah, exactly.
And what about, do you have a website?
It should be ready to go. Actually, I think the launch is going to be January 1st. So I've got it built, and so I think we're going to launch it on January 1st.
Okay,
and that's the address is going to be myrawintuition.com.
Okay, cool. And are you coaching right now, Matt?
Yeah. Anybody that needs coaching help or just encouragement of any kind, you can email me or go to my Facebook page and comment or leave me a message there. And I'm always willing to help coach somebody if they need help or just be support for them in any way.
So you help people with like the raw food diet. If somebody wanted to get help getting started on that, would you help them with that?
Of course. Yep. Raw food diet, lifestyle changes, just positivity. If you need more positivity in your life, I'm there to help you figure out ways you can do that. But yeah, I mean, really, what I do mostly now is I teach raw food classes, and then for people that aren't in my area, I do Skype coaching calls and things like that. So.
Do you make jokes on your coaching calls?
No jokes. I'm totally serious in all my business stuff. Just kidding.
That's like, well, that stinks.
Yeah. So no, yeah. There's plenty of joking.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, you can subscribe to Matt's channel to give me a gift, and it'll give Matt a gift too.
Yes.
So that you can get notified of his new videos. And when he posts his video with all of his worm pictures, which he said he might or he might not do. So if you want him to post his worm pictures, make a comment below and tell him so that he'll be encouraged to do it, because right now he's on the fence about it. And I think he should do it because people like to look at other people's poop.
Well, apparently. So yeah, I mean, hey, if we get a lot of likes on your comments, I'll probably do it. So.
All right, guys. Well, have a good night. Thanks again, Matt. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Detoxify your mind and body. Be the change you want to see. Small steps towards living better. Small steps to where I want to be.